What's happening, everybody? It's me, your resident supervillain, MrJayWashington.
And I'm the swaggy Winston A. Marshall.
And we are here for the Blerds in the Hood version, a review, if you will, of The Batman. Now, you ain't seen this movie yet. There it go. Right there. Spoiler alert. We talking about this shit in depth.
Oh, shit. My hand can only go so far. Here, put your hand up because it's red on red, dog. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
Alert. Okay, you've been warned. You've been warned. So, it's not like we haven't brought this up a million. It's even on the title. If you read this title and saw Batman, the Batman spoiler review, and you still clicked on it and be like, I can't believe they're talking about the fact that at the end of it, all the Riddlers.
No. Here's the best part. This is the part that gets me. Everybody hasn't seen it yet. I'm not waiting till all you motherfuckers go to the movies to talk about it.
But I'm fine with it. But here's the thing. I'm fine doing that if you're watching our general show. We're digressing a lot. If you're watching our general show, I get it. If you came to laugh at the Blerds, the last thing you need, if you were like, I genuinely got kids. I can't take these kids to this violent ass movie because, you know, my babies are prone to violence and I don't need them to see this.
The fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about?
And then they think they vengeance. So I ain't go yet. That's the general show. This is specifically our spoiler review of the Batman. So if you hear, it's because you either don't give a fuck or you done seen that shit like 50 times and your name is Matt Thomas. So
I'm upset. 50,000 on my head is disrespect.
Sorry.
Emotional, damn it.
Yep, this is what this is. All right.
So just immediately out of the gate, Jay, we'll come around to some of the if you want to see what we felt. If you want to see how we felt about some of the storylines surrounding the film, so the racist controversy and bullshit, or the Zoey Kravitz stuff, go look at those clips that are here on this channel, and we've talked about that in other places. But put all that bullshit aside. Just as the film, as Jay Washington went to go see it, how do you feel about the film generally? Just give me a brief statement or two before we dive in.
So I think it's a decent movie. I think it's too long. I need people to stop saying, oh, we finally got him as a detective, because we've been having him as a detective in various movies. It's just we've never had a full noir detective film. So I it's a good Batman movie. Yeah. If you're gonna give my just general consensus, it's a good Batman movie, but it's not without its flaws.
That's so we're on the same page where, as far as Batman films, I've stated this before. I'm gonna see it again this week. So if it changes, I will make sure to let y'all know. But as a Batman film, it is my third favorite behind Dark Knight and Begins. I agree with you. The people that are like, we never got Detective Batman, that's bullshit. Like, one of my favorite scenes in The Dark Knight is him taking the brick out of the wall, setting all the shit up and running experiments to figure out, showing up to that dude's house before the GCPD shows up, be like, I wonder when you would get here. Like, we've gotten tastes of it. Now, the difference is, and this is where I will give some people some credit, this is where we have seen the most detective work. Because you could even argue the last Riddler film we had, bro, he kept getting riddles and trying to figure this motherfucker out. So, of course, he was doing detective work to figure him out. But I digress. This is the first time that it's been Zodiac killer level of ridiculousness and like genuine crazy riddles to figure out what this is and really unraveling all that. So I will give credit that this is the most detective work we have ever seen, and it's done exceptionally well. We'll get into the acting in a little bit, because the acting on this is phenomenal. I don't really feel there's a single person slacking, and two people in particular, three almost, but two in particular have jumped far and away from me. My biggest flaw with the film, Jay, is the time. Honestly, is that it is too long. Now, again, I've heard once you see it a second time, it doesn't feel like as long to get through. But you're trying to get people to step up to the plate the first time. You don't want the word to get out that, man, I checked my watch a couple times, and not because I was bored, but just because it was like, Okay, like the scene that I kept talking about that stuck out in my mind of being too long is the very last motorcycles driving off together. I like the playfulness. I like that it kind of shows their relationship, but that whole shot was like about 90 seconds. I don't need a minute and a half of them.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
I was in the theater. I was like, yo, this is just like that last scene in, what was it, Fast 8, where they had Vin Diesel and Paul Walker.
Without you, my friend. But even that was on. But even that, bro, there's two things. First of all, Paul Walker fucking died. So if you want to take 5 minutes to do that, we lost someone actually. So if that's what you want to do, I'll give you that. But
emotional, damn it.
But all we did was end this film, and we're gonna come. I'm sure Zoe will get a chance to be in another Batman film. So it was just a lot. The biggest thing that I think is so interesting about as far as some of those flaws are, I'm not saying you don't open it up and do all the stuff that you want to do, but you could have just done little things to like trim some fat, take a few seconds off here and there, and we would have been good to go. You know,
I get where a lot of people are saying you have to have this time to flush some things out. I understand that. I get where some people are like, you got to develop this, and then some people going because of the universe building. Here's the problem with that statement. You don't have to build the universe out in the first movie.
Well, so that's the thing. You don't have to build the universe. You have to build the world. Like the world building is true.
Itself, and the world being Gotham. Right. The world itself is just Gotham.
Bro, the opening sequence to me, up through when he beats the shit out of that clown gang or whatever, was flawless. So setting it up with the Ave Maria and like murdering the mayor, so the mystery's afoot, but then all of a sudden the narration of like, yeah, you know, the city be fucking crazy and shit. And I don't tolerate that.
These niggas is wild.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to stop niggas.
They wild.
I mean, not niggas, but
no,
niggas.
They wild. But all of a sudden, when they hear, I'm like, oh shit, Omar coming! Like, nigga, that's literally they set up Omar coming, bro. They set up Omar coming. That's the best part about.
Here's the issue I had with that one scene in the beginning. Was the only issue I had with the opening Batman. Again, the clown gang. Of course, everyone knows where this is going. You see a clown gang, your brain is automatic. Jay like Kurgo, the kid, the one kid he doesn't.
A lot of people are saying he is probably going to be Tim Drake.
He's Tim Drake in Titans.
Oh, I haven't seen the newest season.
That's my issue. I was like, wait, I understand that for anybody who's wondering, I get it. People have played multiple characters in multiple roles through multiple properties, et cetera, et cetera.
But not typically within the same universe.
Right. This dude is already Tim Drake going to be Robin in season 4 of Titans. He is already going to be that. And so the moment you have with him in stopping the clown gang and him being the last one and Batman not doing anything, just letting him run away, it's indicative for a lot of people of thinking, oh, is this how he decides he wants to change his life around and blah, 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 blah. Whether that be the case or not, but I felt like you could have used another actor for that moment.
But then it makes me think that maybe there is a connection in that regard, because there is no way that Warner Brothers let that shit slip. That would make zero sense. You have to sign off on every person involved in every film or whatever.
That you can't connect because, again, the Batman is year 2 Batman.
Sure.
Which, by the way, this is for what it is. It's a great adaptation of The Long Halloween. Year 2 Batman. Titans, that Bruce Wayne, no. Like, that nigga's been doing it. We've already gone. Again, Tim Drake can't happen until you at least have 2 other Robins. You have to go through
theory. In theory,
you can't just jump to Tim without jumping. Okay, you might skip Jason Todd. Might skip Jason Todd.
Again, here's the thing, but Jay, you have to remember that's in theory. Yes, if we're going super full on comic book accurate, yes. but that's not necessarily like, you know what I'm saying?
But
You're
also, he
allowed to
doesn't become.
mess with the world.
But he does. You are. I agree. I agree. You are allowed again. As someone who I will switch universes for a second, who has had no problem with Marvel changing the world of the Eternals and certain other properties.
You're more saying because they've already introduced Dick and Jason.
You haven't even introduced Dick Grayson.
No, but I'm saying in Titans, you have already introduced them. So
you
if it's the same,
but also in this Batman, the issue is again, it's year 2. He doesn't pick up a ward until later on.
No, I understand.
You see what I'm saying? So for people to think that this is the automatic jump to Tim Drake now, he hasn't even. He's still learning how to deal with all this on his own.
I would not be surprised, because we're dealing with Flashpoint, which means we're getting different timelines, kind of opening up the idea for different Earths and all that kind of shit potentially. I would not be surprised if the statement ultimately comes out that like the Batman universe, and we got to get back to the actual film in a second, but that the Batman universe with Pattinson, the Reeves universe, is one universe, and you would have doppelgangers essentially. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because after the Flash, Keaton is that Batman for going forward.
Right. So you got to remember you have the Penguin show coming out,
which is a limited series,
which is tied to this. Mm-hmm. You have the Batgirl series coming out, which by making her
black,
Batgirl movie. It's a movie. I thought it was a series. It's a movie. No, it's a movie going to HBO Max, though, right?
Yes, which was supposed to go to theaters, is just solely on Max.
But she's supposed to be related to Wright's Gordon, correct?
They haven't said so. They haven't said.
Okay.
It's been everybody's. So that was the thing. Everyone's assumed it because of Leslie Grace and Jim Gordon. So everybody automatically assumed that the connection were in the two. But going back to the film, let me ask this number one question, and this has to be the overall outside of the film. Your thought on Robert Pattinson?
I thought he was phenomenal as Batman. I think as Batman, I absolutely loved him. I have since having had a number of discussions about Bruce Wayne. I sort of get what they were going for in the idea of like, if Bruce Wayne is actually the Mask, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne is actually the Mask. He hasn't figured out how to put that to use that tool yet to be out there. But I think the only thing that got me a little bit, his Bruce Wayne for the most part read very one-dimensional for me, in the sense that it was always just full on about his parents, which again, totally fine. And I think it reads when you have the situation where he goes, yo, Thomas might have been a crooked ass dude, and he starts to panic. That makes sense. And that was where I got Bruce Wayne range from him, where all of a sudden he's like, the fuck am I even doing this for? Was my dad actually a horrible person? Was he in with the mob? Like that all read, but otherwise he just kind of felt very like My Chemical Romance with it. And I was just like, I'm not necessarily needing him to be out here and be full Playboy mode, but I just wish I had seen other sides of him. And the only like what really forced it home for me was getting the "you're not my dad" moment that he had with Alfred, bro. It just,
I know,
you know what I'm saying?
Know. You're not my father, Alfred. I know.
You're not my dad. So like, that's all. What about you, man?
For me, again, his Batman, great. I loved his Batman. My problem with his Bruce is, like you said, yes, Bruce is the Mask. We understand that. But that only happens later down the line, because that's when he realizes he would rather be Batman full time than be Bruce Wayne. He has to, as every comic has shown us, his first several years, he is juggling the two.
Yeah.
He is literally juggling. He has not made that decision out of the gate yet. Because again, it still has to be a secret. There is no reason that through deductive, if we're talking noir detective film, right? There is no reason that someone can't extrapolate that that's Bruce Wayne by the way he acts in this.
Yeah, I mean, he's completely disappeared. He looks like he's constantly freaking exhausted. Like there's a lot kind of going on, and I guess the reason why, and everybody's allowed their take. So I'm not going away from that. I just remember seeing Begins. Begins, we're seeing him in the early year one stages of being Batman, and he is kind of
The dual
coming in
life.
as he's living that dual life. Now, if you want to paint, I get painting this picture like this. I guess what I would have liked is to just see that Bruce would develop a little quicker, because I think they are equal parts to how this superhero can function. You know what I'm saying? I
Because
think
we've
more,
taken out
yeah,
the big part, one of the big parts of Batman is Wayne Enterprises, because that's where he gets his tech from,
right,
right?
right,
We have none of that. We have no Lucius Fox, which I'm fine with. We don't always
right.
have to have a Lucius.
No,
But Alfred should be doing some things as well. That's one of the things we've consistently seen that we didn't see much of here with
Mhm,
Andy Serkis's Alfred, is we
mhm.
didn't see the Alfred who is offsetting what Lucius Fox does in the R&D departments of,
Right,
of Wayne Tech. You don't see Alfred in the cave making stuff. You
right,
know what I'm saying? So it's those little bitty things that are a part of the story still. Even
right.
if you are doing, again, I do not want anyone to think that I'm personally taking away from what this noir detective film was.
No,
There are
not at all.
still essential parts to this character that need to be held to. Yes, you can have a take, but there are essentials to the
Yeah.
character.
Well, and all that being said, I kind of want to switch gears to stay talking about Batman specifically, about what I think they got super right. We finally got to see, like, again, we've gotten Detective Batman before, but because we have focused so hard on it, we got to see the brilliant mind of Bruce, but also how he, again, as for as smart as he is, sometimes can be caught unawares, which is something, especially early on when he's further refining his abilities. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting to see to see him get caught with his pants down a couple times, but to piece it together in enough time to do what he needs to do, essentially. I also just find it like really, really dope in the sense that, did you notice that depending on the fight, he would switch his fighting styles pretty regularly?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that a lot of things that also aren't normally paid attention to. He has mastered like some
Several
100,
hundreds of
200 different martial
martial
arts.
arts.
So
Yeah.
to literally watch him mid fight switch it up, and go kind of like a full brawler, because it'll be like he hits you with a couple boxing moves and then is judoing your ass and then it's like using Krav Maga on one to disarm somebody. Like it's really impressive to see the different styles get mixed in. So that's a huge shout out to Reeves, Pattinson, and that whole stunt team for making sure that that felt really good and authentic.
There's been a discussion about his violence,
Mhm.
which again, throughout it all, Batman is a violent motherfucker because that's what he is. Look,
Mhm.
the
It's just
dude,
because you're used to Adam West in the animated series of you just get one pow, and
pow,
that's all it
pow,
needs
blam.
to knock him down. No,
Right.
Batman will fuck
Batman is
you up.
violent. This nigga is, look, if you do not understand, he does not have superpowers. He just beats the dog shit out of people. And that's why people are like, oh my God, this is so violent. And it's like, yes, but now again, you're finally seeing who Ben Affleck's Batman was a close comparison to that in BVS, in that fucking warehouse scene when he's beating the dog shit out of people. But so again, I like the violence. I like those things behind him. Again, I love how every Batman has their own version of what a Batmobile is. But
Mhm.
it also makes this question of what year is Gotham supposed to be set in? I never understand. Because this Gotham, he drives what looks like a Mustang or a
That he's
Challenger,
souped up, yeah.
a souped up Mustang or Challenger, but there's social media. Nigga, I'm confused. Like, I'm
Yeah.
always, I'm always confused. I'm like, I understand that Gotham is this hodgepodge of things, so you can never put a time. But then when you look at the dates of like the headstones. So you're like, all right, I'm assuming this is supposed to be modern day 2022, 21, whatever the case. And so it's that little thing. Zoey Kravitz, we talked a brief about her controversy, but her portrayal of Selena Kyle, the Catwoman, your overall thoughts?
I mean, I would argue she's the best Catwoman that we've seen, honestly. The only maybe run for the money, but it's animated and that's Annihilate on Harley
Yeah,
Quinn.
it's Annihilate, yeah.
Just because they made her like a bad bitch, like, mean girl on that, which was really funny. But this Catwoman is so balanced in her fighting ability, in like her independence, in her like defending women. The storyline makes a lot of sense. I know some people feel some type of way about her being related to Falcone and all that, being their daughter, but
hold your thought.
Yeah.
Nigga, when the reveal, again, spoiler alert, when the reveal comes that Falcone is her father, everybody breathed a quick sigh of relief. But was I the only one was like, hold on, did he fuck his daughter? Because he didn't seem to because he didn't realize she was his daughter until she said it.
Right. But I don't think they had sex. I think he lusted after her, but I don't think they had sex.
Okay, because you got what I'm saying. Like, when he was like, hey, I ain't seen you in so long.
No, because here's the thing. She would not have willingly had sex with her dad. She knew that was her dad. Come on now.
I guess she knew that was her father. I understand
why,
that.
but why? That doesn't make sense. Why would she have sex with her own dad?
It's weird ass Gotham. That's why.
But no, that's not.
We don't. Let's just Gotham has some wild.
I get it. That's not. Anyway.
Okay.
Zoey brought a lot to this role. It further points to why her not getting an opportunity to be in The Dark Knight Rises was silly, because you see how talented she is and how she made it so three-dimensional.
She'd outshine Bale. I think it's for the best, because she'd have definitely outshined Christian Bale.
Potentially. I get that. Well, you never know. Only in the sense, remember, that came out, 2012, 13, something like that?
Yeah. We're talking about a way.
She's had time to further hone her craft and get better and better. It's like she's always been good, but she's only gotten better and better and better and better and better. You know what I'm saying? So it's bullshit that she didn't get the opportunity, because she obviously had the potential to be as good as she is here. But she just really brought that extra element there. I love seeing her interact with her roommate, where she was trying to defend like all these different women, which is one of the things about Selena that is so central to her character. Yeah, she's a thief. Yeah, she's looking out for herself, but she has a strong moral compass of defending women that can't defend themselves. And you've seen that not only or women in general, but especially the women that can't.
She's always been a feminist without the label of a feminist.
No. I understand that. I'm saying but I loved the characterization of that even more so here. This was like you got it in Batman Returns, for example. But if you notice that one, she saves the woman from getting mugged. And she goes, I hate weak women that can't take care of themselves. Like, waiting for the man to save you. Like, I'm not saying I don't disagree.
I'm so mad that you did that reenactment that way, but
go ahead. I'm not saying I don't.
No, I know what you're saying, but
like this, you know what I'm saying, is like protecting women and kind of empowering, instead of like, you stupid bitch. Like that was what that kind of read to me. When she did that. Because I felt like after she saved her, she then robbed her herself. That's what that energy read to me after she yelled at that woman. And she goes, you don't deserve this money. And then she took the money and then cartwheeled out of there.
This bullshit needs to stop now.
That's kind of how she went. All right, let's move on, because I know we got to move forward this. I'm gonna put the two of them together, and let's just give overall.
They deserve their own space, bro.
All right, let's do it.
Pick one, and we'll come around.
All right, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I'll go first real quick. If this man is not nominated for an Oscar, and I say this, look, I won't say the film. Here's why I say him as an Oscar, though, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, wait, but you said blah blah blah. The transformation alone If someone does not tell you that is Colin Farrell, you do not know.
It would be. I think there is a higher probability that makeup gets it than he does.
Well,
And the reason
let's
why,
say that.
and the
My hair and makeup gets
because
it.
you physically couldn't see him there. Now, mind you, as an actor, he did so many things that I still didn't know it was Colin Farrell. Because if like his voice squeaked out or the way he tends to carry himself, if I had seen any of that, I might have been like, there it is. I could not recognize him from the look to the voice to the physicality. That was an expert job between him and that team to make this come to life. I agree. I think that two people, we'll get to the second one in a minute. I think two people deserve potentially Oscar acting nominations, and Colin being one of them. The only thing is, let's be real about this. This came out in early March of 2022. That's way too early. The only things that tend to make it that far
Are the end of the year Oscar bait movies.
Well, no, I was going to say the only noms that tend to happen are typically something to do with crew, so makeup and costumes. Because if it's that phenomenal, that's to stick. And then any sort of like editing or mixing and things like that. But otherwise, we are way too far out from it that this acting job is going to get forgotten.
Well, I bring that up because in the same vein of what Colin Farrell is how many times we look at a Jared Leto in his look, House of Gucci, how he's, many people go off of his performances, but they also go off his transformations. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the reason I put that in the same vein. And I understand again, yes, Oscar bait don't start till about August, September. That's when you really start talking Oscar bait.
Right.
But so that's that. But again, I think a great performance is going to be interesting to see. Again, my issue though is, what is this Penguin series other than what Gotham is now? Because you're not going to have Pattinson in this series, right?
You might. I think that's the thing.
I doubt it. I strongly doubt it.
Hold on, because for spoiler alert for Peacemaker, the fact that you got Viola Davis, who is arguably the biggest person outside of Idris to come out of the Suicide Squad, like to show up in Peacemaker twice.
But Amanda Waller, I hate to say it this way, Amanda Waller and Batman, you're comparing. I get what you're saying as far as the actor level, yes. But the character is what I'm going at.
I am less concerned about the character in that regard as I am the actor, because I think, you know what Warner wants? Warner wants, like, they're very particular about how they let Batman show up on TV. But because it's a limited because it's a limited series directly associated with this Batman film, I could see that happening. You know what I mean?
5 to 7, 8 episodes with
I would make an argument that you have a situation where maybe Batman's presence is felt randomly throughout the series, but he shows up maybe once, and you end up with like a Luke Skywalker moment at the end of Mandalorian season 2, where it's like he just comes in for one little whatever, and that's it. That is where I think you have a higher probability of Catwoman showing up a bunch than
again, another problem with that. There's certain gems that were dropped that you can't yet fully explore. People keep saying the universe. Catwoman saying she's going to Bloodhaven. Bloodhaven is only famous because of one person in the DC universe.
I'm aware, but guess what? Bloodhaven's not that far. Nightwing shows up all the time. So it's
it's no Nightwing yet.
I understand. Let me finish, bro. I'm saying that Bloodhaven's not far. So Catwoman could easily pop back over and you could find a reason for her to be there. We also don't know specifically when this Penguin series is starting and where it ends up. You have to assume that the series is going to focus on the after the events of the Batman.
It's already said it. Matt Reeves said it. It's after the movie.
Okay, I get that, but just because something is after the movie does not mean we are not potentially exploring things that happened previously. How did he even get involved in Falcone and the mob? Things like that. We could end up with stories involved in that.
Forward. Why would you go backwards now? I get what you're saying.
It happens all the time. I'm
telling you what the director and the creator has said. It is moving.
I understand that, but until you actually see the episodes again, I can point to plenty of that where they say stuff is moving forward and you have a flashback. That happens all the time.
Flashback is not a whole. I get what you're saying, but
I you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yes, but like how many different shows have we seen in that regard where there are, let's dip back in to it a little bit. You don't dedicate a full episode, but you dedicate a quarter or a half because you're trying to explain something. You're bouncing back and forth between the present and the past. The main story clearly is going to focus on going forward, but I would not be surprised if like they really want to explore how Oswald became who he is in the mob and compare, like, look at Boba Fett. They did that. It's supposed to take place after the whole, it's supposed to take place like right around the whole Mandalorian shit. After all that, when Boba kind of sits down on the throne, but how many times did they cut back to him getting out of the Sarlacc pit and dealing with the Tusken Raiders and all that? I can see them doing.
I think there's a difference though with that because, and we can move on after this. I think there's a difference because there was so much unanswered stuff with that character. With this new Penguin, we're not doing the Penguin like the Danny DeVito version.
Oh hell no!
We're doing a Penguin somewhat similar to Robin Lord Taylor's in Gotham, where he's in the mob now automatically. Sure. We know this, so now he's the guy.
I get it, but I think it's equally as important because that informs a lot of Cobblepot's bullshit. He does come from that, and in most iterations, yes, he's part of a mob or starts his own kind of like mob boss shit, but he still comes from rich folks that lost everything, and he's fucking entitled and bitter, and so he takes it out on, I'm gonna get my money back no matter what. Like, you see, my money, like, bro. I was
like a horrible JG Wentworth commercial, nigga.
Bro.
It's my money and I need it now.
And I want it now, bitch. So hold on one second.
Yeah, so then you can go forward. All right, so we got that.
But either way, just the last thing with the Penguin, bro. Like, I mean, looking at all of this, just the simple fact that he really dives in and like the whole you're the world's greatest detective, you don't speak Spanish. Spanish is your weakness. Like the flying rat. Come on,
flying rat is a bad, okay? It's a Let's go to the riddles. Speaking of riddles, Paul Dano is the Riddler, man. This man was the Zodiac killer, and throughout it all, everything was a purpose, was a point. But my biggest thing is this nigga looked like a school shooter. So I was like, yeah, he really is going to be a serial killer. What did you think overall about his performances? The Riddler, the shock, suspense value, everything he gave you.
I mean, dude, like the biggest thing that I think I got out of it was perfectly defined when he's getting arrested and they put it like they slam his head on the diner and he just like that whole moment. I was like, dude, I have never been scared of the Riddler. I am terrified of the Riddler right now. Like, obviously he's super smart and can really fuck some shit up, but like there is this level of like, yeah, you smarty pants, but like Two-Face looks ridiculous and will just straight up murder you. The Joker is lit. I mean, they're all insane, but the Joker, no rhyme or reason there. The Penguin's a mob boss. You know what I'm saying? There are all these reasons why all these other villains, you see them, you instantly get a little bit of fear in your heart. The Riddler, you're like, this nigga dressed in green and got question marks on himself. And Matt Reeves and Paul Dano found a way to make this man be honestly the scariest villain that we've seen in a Batman film for me personally, even over Ledger's Joker. I don't know if it's because I'm desensitized to it now because I've seen it so many times, but there was something so scarily cryptic, and I think it also gets tied to the fact that at the end he had amassed followers that were willing to like go and act his bidding. I was
bring it up. I was like, hey, my man is, look, you'll understand this reference and analogy, and a lot of other people who watch us who understand the world will. The man had 500 followers, got 20 people to show up for what he needed. He is perfect for a bringer show.
I saw your tweet, bro. But then, look. All I'm gonna say is, man, I think we finally got the answer, and hopefully now that he's behind bars, it'll stop. This is Q, bro. We've been trying to figure out who QAnon was. This is Q. My nigga literally.
I'm out.
The Q stands for questions,
I'm
dog.
Go ahead
The Q stands for questions.
I'm going to get the fuck out of here. This nigga said he's QAnon. I mean, it's again, this goes back to the detective thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna go fully deep detective wise, the carpet scraper in the beginning,
great. Yeah,
Batman would automatically be focused on that the whole time. Why did he kill him with this? Right? If we're going the world's greatest detective, like if you're really gonna go full in depth, like people wanted, that is one thing he would never stop.
But remember, year 2, he's figuring out how. Like, yes,
no,
he has
I get it. I get. I'm just throwing it out. But also, but when he said, "Yo, you really are not as bright as I thought," here's my issue too, and I don't know why it has. I know why, but I don't know why. I understand it's that give it all you got in the first go round, just in case you don't get a second chance. Why does every criminal have to find out who the hero is in the first film?
He didn't.
He knows who Bruce is.
No, he doesn't.
Am I missing that he does?
Yes. Did you not pick up on that? He goes, Bruce Wayne. And then he walks in like, oh, fuck, this motherfucker knows who I am. And then he goes, we didn't get him. But me and you, we did a lot of, that was the whole point of the scene. And if you notice, Batman, like, this is where Robert Pattinson gets so much credit for this role from top to bottom, is he did a lot of eye acting. The minute that happened, there was this sudden panic where he goes, fuck.
Yeah.
But he doesn't break. And then the Riddler,
because that's the part I'm going off of.
Does not know. He's upset because he did not get Bruce. So he's like, we got everybody else. That was the only one we didn't get.
Okay, because that was the thing I was going off, because the face he made, because the Pattinson did shit. Because anybody knows what that face looked like when somebody figured you out. You're like, fuck. Like,
he don't know. He don't know.
Okay.
He don't know.
So Paul Dano, again, great performance. Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon. I like the choice he made for his dialogue for Gordon. He gave it that, he gave it that old dragnet copper thing. Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? How he did it. I was like, cool, I'm with it. But I want to ask this question. And I tweeted about this, and a lot of people were trying to justify it. And I understand it happens in the Dark Knight as well. We just cool with Batman walking through cops, nigga. Like, I understand him and Gordon's relationship. I get that. I get it.
I know Gordon's a lieutenant, but like he ain't the commissioner. He can't just be like, nah, let the dude. Also, it was interesting. No one tried to unmask him in that moment when he was knocked out from the church.
Yo, just waited till he finally got to the police station. Also,
not a single person. And like, if you had shown me someone tried and it had the scanner thing already, where it shocks somebody trying to demask,
like it does in the Dark Knight when the Joker tries to take it off,
or any number of it was one of the henchmen. One of the henchmen does.
The
Joker's like, like, but dude, it's just that was a little bit plot holy to me. I'm like, no, like I cannot believe that all them cops, especially some of them being corrupt, or a lot of them being corrupt, being like, yeah, no, we don't need to know who this dude is. Nobody was everybody with the gun the whole time. Ain't nobody taking this mask off, dog. Anybody take this mask off, then you getting blown away.
The nigga wakes up in the police station, starts swinging on niggas, and everybody just like, no, give him room. Lock this nigga up. And then
bro,
him and Gordon have the discussion of how to get out. Because again, I like the way they both did it.
That was
steals on Gordon, leaves, comes back later, and they're like, "Oh no, we forgave you."
You know, it's interesting. I appreciated this human moment, but I think it threw me off knowing that Batman has done all this training he's done. So maybe the idea here was it's year 2, so maybe he hasn't had to use the wingsuit yet. Did you notice when he got to the roof, he said, "Oh shit," like he was scared of heights all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't, because he realized he had the wingsuit, But it's like, bro, you realize this.
That look on the face wasn't "I have a wingsuit." The look on the face was like, "Oh fuck, nigga, that's high." Like
I know that's what I'm saying. It's like, nigga, your whole thing is you jump from buildings, nigga, and glide. You jump. This nigga looked up. He's like, you ever remember the movie True Lies?
Yeah.
Remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger was on the horse chasing dude through the Georgetown Mall?
Yeah.
Dude jumped off the bike, and then he thought he was gonna have a horse go, and the horse looked over the edge and was like, "Shit!" and stopped. That's what Bruce Wayne did. Bruce Wayne was right. That nigga was out. He was like, "Fuck, I'm out of here." Whoa, nigga, jump!
It was a human moment, but I guess that's the thing. Bruce is superhuman in a different way, and so it took me aback because it's not like, again, we are year 2. He's had some experience jumping off of fucking buildings. Like if he had gotten up there and goes, "Oh, this never gets easier." Like even something as simple as that, I would have been like, okay, but
it's just those little small. And again, it's those little small things to me.
Minor gripes.
Minor gripes. Again, this nigga should just jump. Again, also, had no one know. Remember how I said it's things he does in year 2 that don't, that if you got common sense would say, that nigga's Batman. When they're in the funeral for the mayor and the Riddler is there, everybody's ran off and this nigga's staring. Why is Bruce Wayne just standing here? Like, I understand the moment that Matt Reeves, we're both actors. And we've both worked with directors who we understand their choices and what type of message they're trying to convey. I understand that. But again, we're talking about a vigilante who is supposed to be this isn't like a Tony Stark Iron Man, you know who I am. Peter Parker in Civil War in the comics where he reveals himself on the steps of Congress. This is a guy who, again, his mask, his alter ego is this billionaire playboy. His truth is the crime fighter. And we just see him stand here just staring up like this, and everybody's scattered, police and everywhere, everybody. And again, it's those small little moments for me that's like, this doesn't add up at year 2.
Some of it doesn't, for sure. But I would make the argument that none of it is in a position where I'm pulled out of this. There's nothing that I look at those decisions when he hesitates to jump off the roof, him staring at the funeral, even him being emo Bruce. There's none of it that takes me out of it and go, man, F this movie. Not at all. These are just little things that I'm like, if you make these like minor tweaks for me, it just kind of elevates it a little bit. The only thing, honestly, is just the timing. And it's not that I have a problem with long films. I clearly don't. I have a problem with nonsensical length. So you're doing it just to do it. If I felt like what was going on would work, because if you want to talk not just about length, but even timing, I don't have a problem with the scene of the Riddler in Arkham with the Joker. I have a problem where the fuck it shows up. That shit completely ruined the flow of the end of the film. That would have been a post-credit scene at best.
Also, the Joker doesn't need to have this long. They don't need to have this long dialogue between each other.
Now, I've heard that they actually had the Joker more in the film, and this became somewhat of a Hannibal Lecter Silence of the Lambs situation, where he's kind of checking in with the Joker he's already put into Arkham and trying to figure out but they cut any of those scenes that were happening and just left this one. So it apparently does make a little more sense when it happens, but it just, I don't know. I just genuinely think once you've made the decision that you're cutting all the rest of that, then move it to a different part of the film. Put it at the
Do we need the Joker right now? This is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to Batman films.
That we constantly have to go to the Joker.
We don't. Batman, again, to take the Riddler, to take the most absurd character that we've thought of, a dude that just makes riddles. Yeah, he kills people, but whatever. to take the Riddler, turn everything we thought about him on its head, and make him this horrifying villain shows that you can do a lot with a lot of the other rogues gallery of Batman villains. The Joker does not have to be the one you automatically jump to next. It doesn't. You can, again, I know people are like, well, what about Penguin? Penguin is for the limited series. The big deal is the movie.
Yeah.
And that being the Joker. You don't have to you can do a Mr. Freeze. It doesn't have to be as cartoony as Arnold Schwarzenegger. It can be even toned down or a different way from what was in Gotham. Maybe a Clayface. Again, we're talking about this wild ass town, this wild ass city of Gotham. That we know many of his rogues gallery villains, but it does not have to go to the joke. Again, Aaron Eckhart's version of Harvey Two-Face done in The Dark Knight is done so well because it works.
Yeah.
The reason he is Two-Face because the side of his face is burnt off.
Yeah.
You can do a version again like that in this type of universe. It does not have to jump to the Joker. That has always just been one of my big things. Like,
no, I get it. It's well, especially because when you keep doing that, it feels like you get bored quicker because it's like there's no other story. Like I thought we were going to get more Court of Owls here. And I think that we still might get Court of Owls when it's all said and done, because this has been labeled as a trilogy. So I hope that we get there, because that whole storyline of that group and of the Talons is so fucking interesting and like kind of terrifying. It's essentially, for those that are unfamiliar with the Court of Owls, you're talking about Gotham Illuminati, more or less. That's the easiest way for me to explain it in a few words or less. So I hope that's where we end up ultimately. It just is kind of weird that we've gone straight to the Joker. So we'll see what happens. But Jay, if you had to give it a rating out of 5, man, what would you rate the film?
If I got to give it out of 1 to 5, I'm going to rate this a 4. I'm going to rate it a 4. Again, it's not a bad movie at all. Like I said, it's a decent movie. Its time is too long for me. I have my gripes, as I've mentioned. I've got a couple of others, but a 4. And I just will say this in closing. Everybody does not have to think this is a masterpiece, as so many people are doing on the internet.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have to think this is a perfect movie, because to them it's not. And I'm really getting to, I've said this on Mad Titan and other things. I am tired of people trying to jump in comments on Twitter threads and Facebook and etc. going, how dare you not like this or that? And like, yo, people are allowed not to think it's a perfect film because you do.
Right. So my question is, just for an example, because I'll use one of my own before I get my rating. You would still say that it is like you said, it's a decent movie. You would say it's a well-made movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, I don't know whose car is getting robbed or stolen, so I can't control. We can't hear it, or I can at least. To that point, I think that Avatar is an exceptionally well-made film. I do not like that movie at all. I do not like Avatar. So a movie can still be a good movie as far as how a movie is made, but people not be like, I rocks with it, or feel that there are little tweaks enough that you can go, I see where this is a good film for everyone, but I'm not going to call it a masterpiece for these reasons. You know what I mean? So like, all that being said, for me, I would give it a 4.75. I really, really enjoyed the film a lot. I'm excited for my second rewatch. Like I said, I think people keep seeing me make little comments, and they're like, oh, you have terrible taste. You know what you're talking about. Again, I'm just talking about the things that took it out for me. I'm talking about things that I think that it could improve as a film for me, in my opinion. And I'm allowed to have that, and you're allowed to have yours. But the minute you start attacking somebody on that shit, that's pathetic. That's honestly pathetic.
Too, bro. Like, people keep doing that. Like, yo, okay, what your taste in film is, what my taste in film is, what another person's taste in film is, may all be different. May all be different. And for people like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. No, I do. That is like when people get mad at Rotten Tomatoes critics. Here's the thing: a critic is someone who is paid to give their opinion. An opinion? There is no right or wrong to someone else's opinion. Now, there are people who will come to you who come to a Winston A. Marshall, who come to a NSFW, who come to other people for our opinions on things and our perspectives. And they may align with us, but at the same time, they may not.
Absolutely. That is absolutely correct, man. So with all that being said, y'all, we want to know what you think. I know you've been watching this whole thing. So go ahead and let us know. We'll check out the live chat, but tell us in the comments, what were your thoughts on the Batman? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it your favorite Batman film? Is it your least favorite Batman film? Who do you think deserves Oscars? All that good stuff we want to know. So go down below and make sure to let us know. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit that notification bell so you know when we drop stuff. We put clips from our full show, Blerds in the Hood, which right now we are doing exclusively on Twitch for the live show Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. But we put clips out of the show here on this YouTube channel. So if you want to, you can't watch us live, you can check out all the stuff we're talking about, all the jokes. That still makes it all in on those clips, as well as these other reviews we've been doing, these movie reviews, TV reviews, all that good stuff, all living here on this channel. Jay, what you got going on that people can look out for, man?
Man, y'all already know Mad Titan Podcast, everywhere you get your podcast from, and get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It is Barbershop Talk for Nerds. Come on in the convo with that. I got stand-up shows, pro wrestling, all that. I'm everywhere. Your best bet to find out what's going on, when it's happening, is following me on Twitter and Instagram at MrJayWashington, MrJayWashington. You should know how to spell Washington, and he's already told you about the show, some Blerds in the Hood, because like you're here. So why would I need to tell you again?
You never know. Someone may have just clicked Batman spoiler review. Oh, 2 black guys. Okay, let me see what this is about.
Oh, if the niggas talking about the black guy, if the niggas talking about all the good black.
Stop it. Okay, you know where to find me. Any and everywhere the Swaggy Blerds are sold. Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, go ahead. You can switch us back. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. You can also find me on The Big Thing over on the Kristen Harloff channel. Those tend to be there every Friday. We've been doing these rewatches, and we did one on the Batman. You should check out all the ones we did of the previous Batman films, as well as our talk on that. And then, yeah, my channel as well. Like, I've got sketches up there, interviews, all that good stuff. YouTube.com/TheSwaggyBlerd, so you don't want to miss that. And I'm also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheSwaggyBlerd as well. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. This has been the Batman. We're gonna be doing this for the Batman. We're gonna be doing this for other. See, we did that. We didn't even come here. We didn't even use these. I feel like an ass. I was the one being like, "Yo, let's go over here." We got all this. We didn't even use it. Had all this Zoey stuff. Had all this Dano, and just that's just embarrassing, bro. Honestly, but all right, y'all. We out of here. Take care.